the very center, there is only one presence, one mind, one active spirit in the universe. And it is God. God is that very presence that is within me and each one of us. And what I know to be true is that that very presence fills this room, fills this center, fills each one of us, and is the heartbeat of Miss Judy-Ann and all the music. And as we center ourselves into this knowing, I speak my word, knowing that what transpires, what transforms, and the next few minutes, few hours together could be no other way than perfect. The perfect words, the perfect message, the perfect music, right here, right now. And so it is.
I am aligned with spirit, with spirit. With spirit, with spirit, I am aligned, yes, with spirit, with spirit. We're all made of love, divine oneness of God. He is the light within the soul, transforming our hearts with everything that is God. He's aligning our soul, aligning our spirit. Our souls are aligned with God. Oh, thank you, God, for loving me. I gave you all the love I got. I gave you all that I could give. I gave you love. I gave you all that I have inside, and you took my love. You took my love. Didn't I tell you what I believe? Did somebody say that a love like ours won't last? Didn't I give you all that I got to give? Oh God, I gave you all took my love. I keep crying, I keep trying for you, yeah. There's nothing like you and I, oh God, yes. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. When you came my way, you brightened every day, yes, with your sweet smile. Oh God, didn't I tell you what I believe? Did somebody say that a love like ours won't last? Didn't I give you all that I got to give? My God, this is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. Zip up the beat, stop to let on. So is my conversation with you, just you and I. Didn't I tell you what I believe? Did somebody say that a love like ours won't last? Didn't I give you all that I've got to give? My God, this is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. I keep crying for you, keep trying for you. I'm lonely for you. I am falling, yes, so deep in love with you, yes. I'm crying for you, trying for you, lonely for you, yeah. I am falling, yeah. I'm falling for you, love. I am falling for you. Thank you.
My, the lovely Janita. Do I have Mike? Maybe not. I do. Hello again. I'm still, I shall be, Reverend Judy-Ann Davis Young, Miss Bertha's baby girl. This is no ordinary love. It's a family affair. I remember many years ago, Sly and the Family Stone came out with It's a Family Affair. One child is born to be loved, and another one you're throwing rocks at. And I am here to talk about it is a family affair, and we are going to debunk the archetype of family. Because you talk to anybody, one of the challenges we have in life is that love of family. How many of us have ever been challenged loving some of our family folks? And we say, oh, I love to get together with family. I love to go home and visit family, family reunions, family dinners. And then you say, but Uncle so-and-so is going to be there. And you know, so-and-so always has to have all of the attention. And they always have some drama. And we always have this conversation around family. I'm going to ask you, what is a family? Where do we learn the meaning of family? Everybody has one, and there is a philosophy in New Thought that we chose our family. And if you're like me, I've had times that said, I should have chose more wisely. Why did I choose these people? Well, here's what family is. Family is, by definition, those bloodlines that we're born into. But we need to debunk, is that really the limit of family? I think as we have evolved as people and we now move around the world, it used to be you were born in an area, you lived in that area, and you died within 50 or 100 miles of where you were born. And so family was not just family, they were your best friends, they were your minister, they were your confidants, they were your teachers, they were everything in your community because that's where family was. I know when my grandparents were dating, family was so that, you know, they had large families and two brothers would go over to the Moore's house and two brothers would marry two sisters because that's what family did. They traveled together. And then here come a new revolution, and families started to move around. And if, like my family, my dad in the 50s moved to Alaska, wasn't many black folks in Alaska, and none of them were bloodline family. So what became a new phenomenon then was family became the people in our community that we went to church with. Because back then, to imagine Alaska was not a state. These people migrated there. My father got in a car in San Francisco with some of his old Navy buddies, and they drove to Alaska. It took them 7 or 8 days driving. They didn't have freeways. The Alcan Highway, which goes through Canada into Alaska, it was an unpaved gravel pot-filled road. It took them 7 or 8 days to get there, and here were these young black men in this faraway place called Alaska. And then when I was growing up, I didn't have the privilege of having aunts and uncles around. So guess what? I had what we became our adopted family. And these became my mother's best friends, became my aunties. But what happened is, in family, I don't know about your family, but we tend to do this thing called accepting a title. Oh, that's the pretty one. That's the smart one. That's the one that's going to always be on mother's hands. That's the self-sufficient one. That's the one, the one, the one. And they give you these titles and you start wearing them. It becomes who you are. You're identified. You ever see a family with the pretty sister? In Joe's family, they don't have a pretty sister. They got 3 of them. He has 3 beautiful girls. I don't know how they out prettier each other, but they're all pretty. But in some families, anybody ever had a family with the pretty? Well, that child sure is pretty. Or the family with the smart one. Oh, so-and-so, Brian is so smart. So Brian is told he's smart. Guess what Brian does? He lives up to that calling. The child that's told, you're never going to amount to anything. What does that child do? Oftentimes they live down to that calling. See, here's the thing about family. They give you these titles, but just because they gave you a label or a name does not dictate or mandate that you are obligated to accept or live up or down to it. That's why many of us get grown and move away. And what Holmes teaches us, Ernest Holmes, founder of religious science, says, you are always at choice. We are not defined by our family experience. What defines us is we model what we see. If we come from a dysfunctional family, one or two things are going to happen. We're going to repeat the pattern, or we're going to say, oh, God, I never want to do that. And we're going to go totally toward the opposite side. If you have an alcoholic parent, you're going to make two choices. You're going to either be an alcoholic, or you're going to be so sensitive to alcohol, you're going to do everything you can to avoid it because you know how it played out in your life. There's a saying in AA that children of alcoholics are just what they call undrunk drunks. They're future drunks because they are learning this. And you hear this, but is it true? Absolutely not. And if you're a young lady and you're in a household where your mother is being abused, then you're going to be modeling that behavior unless you make it a concerted effort. And our families teach us a lot about how to be in the world. But what do they teach us from? From their upbringing, their experience, their pain, their shame. And I was talking to a minister friend, and she had had surgery on her rotator cuff. And she said how hard it was for her to ask for support, to allow people to be of support to her. And the reason being is she grew up in a family where she was taught to be independent and to look out for yourself. And you don't ask people for things that you can do for yourself. So when she got into crisis, what happened? She had to redefine how to ask for assistance because her family labeled her the independent one, the strong one, the one that could do it on her own. And then she said, well, wait a minute, I'm at a place where I can't do this. I can't drive. I can't move my arm. There are things that I can't wash my hair. Who do I ask? Have I ever been in that role? Absolutely. You know what my pattern was? My mother worked really hard all her life, and she would get up, and the quality and her evaluation of her day was how much she accomplished. So I grew up thinking that I was only as good as the amount of work that I did that day. And if the day came and my mother didn't feel good and she didn't do any work, she would say, it was a wasted day. I didn't get anything accomplished. So what did I learn? You're only as good as the work you produce. There wasn't no being in that. But when I look at where she grew up in the South, working, and my mother cleaned houses and was a janitor all her life, and she believed that life was supposed to be hard. And many of us have been brought up the same way, believing we have to work hard, we have to struggle, and they would, how many of you had the parents that told you, you get you one of those good government jobs and you stay there 20 years. You get an education, you go to a job, don't matter if you don't like it. You need a retirement. You go there and you struggle and you suffer and you work 20, 30 years, then you have a check, you stay at home, you go home and retire, and you die within 5 years. But now the family is shifting. We live all over the country. How many of you were born here in Las Vegas and have been here all your life? See, no one. None of us. We all came from somewhere else. That's showing the migration and the evolution of us as people. So we show up here and we have to redefine what our family looks like. because our cousins and our aunts and our parents are there. I have adopted children that I have met here that need mothering. And if you're born into a family that you wish you had not had, you'd rather have had someone else, you get to create the family of your dreams. That's the bottom line. You don't have to like the folks that you were birthed into. I call them the folks that I just got stuck with. Because some of these folks in my family, and I'm saying, God, what is the lesson so I can learn it and get in relationship with them? Well, maybe that isn't what it needs to be for you. There's a lesson there. But if you really want that close, loving, supportive person in your life, you get to create that. Whether you create it here, and sometimes, how many of you have worked with people on the job that have become lifelong friends? Absolutely. How many of you have had hobbies where people have become lifelong friends? I have. There's a woman here that I met her husband before they were married, and he and I rode motorcycles together, and we were friends. And then he introduced me to his fiance, and I fell in love with her, and I'd be like, now, oh, by the way, how is Leroy doing? She is my adopted family. This woman is the woman that I go to when I need to be nurtured, when I know that I need to be loved. I go to Geraldine because she is the sister that I don't have. She is the sister I always wanted. She is the sister that shows up at my house and always brings something. I saw this and I thought of you. I cooked this and I thought of you. That's what family is. Family are the people that raise you and praise you. They're the people that you go to when you don't know where else to go. They are that extraordinary love that you go within and find. So rather than be upset because you weren't born into Ozzie and Harry's family and you're not one of the Kardashians, you get to create the family that suits your personality. I had an insight, an aha moment. I have another family, an extended family, based around motorcycles, and I was just really uncomfortable and upset with them Friday. And then Saturday evening, JJ was performing for a dance piece over in Summerlin Theater, and I went. And I realized I was around another family, a spiritual family of people that were loving. And there was a lady sitting 2 seats over, and when the show was over, she said, I don't know you, but I'm just compelled to hug you. I left there so full of joy because I was around like-minded spiritual people. This is your family. That's what spiritual communities have become. They are the place where we go and be with people that get us. Reverend Doug this morning talked about getting it. These are the people that listen with the inner ear and see us with the inner eye. That's why the two of you, I know you're not blood sisters, but I see you sitting there, and you're sitting there in love, and you're sitting there in support. Have you ever seen two people that love each other? You can tell it just by the way they interact. So one, don't get mad about the archetype of family. You're at choice to create a family that works for you. Like I say, Joe is my brother from another mother. He thinks like I think. Sometimes we'll call each other, and I'll say, Joe, he'll say, yep, mm-hmm. And we just laugh at this point. Because I know if I'm thinking about something long enough, he's thinking about it too. My birth brothers, I love them. But there is not the connection that I have with Joe. Now, I'm going to tell you something about family, and this is really critical. And this is where I say we are always at choice. Oftentimes, many of us have families where we are challenged to stay in our power and be authentic. because I call it the invisible chains of loyalty. Sometimes, I know I'm not the only one, family will ask you to do something or to be a way that really goes against who you are. And they have these invisible chains around your ankle. And if you try to pull away, they yank on the chain and they say, I'm your mother, you should do this for me. I'm your sister, you should do this for me. I had a relative that wanted to bring a person to my house that was not their mate. And they said, but I'm your brother. And I said, excuse me? I should be able to share anything with you. I said, let me tell you something. You are not going to have me compromise my integrity out of loyalty to your unscrupulous behavior. Now, what part of that, how many of you have ever been in a position where you've had a family member that's committed a crime, or you know that there's something they are doing that is illegal, and you don't want to tell them because they're family, because you're the chains, those invisible chains of loyalty. I've known people that had pedophiles in their family, and they didn't want to tell on them. So what happened? That person victimized other people. And then years later, the family would say, well, we knew that there was something wrong with him. But meantime, he has victimized a whole community. So those invisible chains, when you're at choice, you get to break the chains. You are not bound or precedented by unscrupulous behavior. I don't care who's doing it. And you can't make people make you loyal to their uncredulous behavior. That's that you're always at choice to be empowered. So choose families, create a family that supports who you are. I have family dinner at my house on Christmas and Thanksgiving and whenever it suits me, and I want people there that support me. They don't even have to agree with my religious views, my spiritual views, but they support who I am. They uplift me. That's called getting what you want. Here's the other piece. I encourage everyone to find a way to be in relationship with their bloodlines. I'll tell you why. God gave you those folks for a reason. Sometimes we go our entire lives trying to figure out why. Everyone in your family came and you agreed at some cosmic level that you needed to learn something from each other. Because I have many times asked God, why did you give me two mothers that were very different and I struggled with both of them? They were the yin and yang in my life. I always talk about Miss Bertha. She was not the mother that birthed me. She was the mother that raised me. She was the mother that taught me to cook and to sew and to decorate and to be a homemaker. Then there was my birth mother who taught me how to be a free spirit. And I look at what both these women did. I am the composite of the best of both of them. And they taught me more than anything to go within and find that extraordinary love with God. Because I never had that mother figure that I could just lay up on and cry and whine and be petted and nurtured. So what did I do when I created family? Oh, I got real smart. I created some folks that nurture me. There's one right over there. I have a girlfriend in Texas that when I need to be mommied, I call her, and she mommies me. So that's what I'm saying. It's upon us to get our needs met. It's a family affair, but what defines family? I've heard people say, I'm so lonely, I don't have anyone. Guess what? Did you create a relationship? Did you put in the effort to create a relationship that supports your needs? And people say, well, I don't know anybody. I find that hard to believe. You go to work with people. They live in your neighborhood. You socialize with them. Even the people at the library. We all have some people. They are family. I love it when I see siblings that are best friends. They turn to each other and they support each other. And I look at how, I'm going to pick on these kids. Joe's girls are together. They are just as loving. You see them, they be touching each other and stroking each other's hair. And they like each other. Let me tell you something about family. You're supposed to like your family. If you have family that you were born into and you're saying, God, why do I have to put up with these folks? Create a family that you like. Create people that make you feel good about you. Because I'm going to tell the truth. Sometimes life will kick you to get your attention. It's part of your growth. And when it kicks at me, you know what? I have some family members that I call. I have one particular girlfriend. I'll call her and I say, tell me that I'm worthy. Tell me that I'm good enough. I don't care what the circumstances is or are. She tells me you are more than worthy and you are good. I created that intimacy that you can't buy. And it's a loyalty with respect and integrity. That's the family that we all crave for. Everybody wants to know that I don't care what happens out here in the world of effect. When I come to you, even if I'm wrong, you're going to hug me first and say, I love you. You will get through this. The last thing you need is some family you go, I told you. Anybody ever been in a bad relationship with somebody that the family didn't like? And when it went wrong, I told you he wasn't that, and you were just so stupid. Well, I'm already on the floor. Why are you still kicking me? Why are you stepping on my fingers? My head is under a brick, and you're stamping on my fingers telling me, you should have known. That's not supportive. But the piece that I want you to go away with is, it is imperative that in creating a family and building a relationship with our family of origin, that you stand in your power and establish who you are and some guidelines. See, that was really hard for me. That was hard for me to say to my birth family, look, you cannot talk to me like that anymore. That's real challenging to tell your mother. I don't feel good when you talk to me like that. Now, I'm going to love you, but I'll love you at a distance if you are disrespectful to me as a human. If you don't teach people how to treat you, they're going to treat you from their own experience, from their pain. You get to be their whipping boy or their whipping girl. Or they'll, like they say, we abuse family because these are the only people that are going to tolerate it. Don't let that be the truth. It's not the truth. But it often happens when we're tired and stuff doesn't go right, we snap at the people that love us. We are here to honor our family. We are here to teach and establish some boundaries. You always have to have boundaries. Love comes with boundaries. Love comes with, this is the line and we cannot cross it. I love you enough to tell you that the line is there. I do that all the time with my immediate family. I have 3 brothers, and they're all very different, but what I am proud to tell you is they all love me. They all respect me. And they know they can't come to me and I co-sign no foolishness. They can't come to me with unscrupulous behavior. It's a family affair, but there are limits to how we treat each other. And here is what I say. When we raise and praise our family, we raise and praise ourselves. They rise up and we rise up with them. Always encourage them. Even if you have a family, and this was my big bane, I would accomplish things and I wouldn't tell my family because they would make me feel bad. And they had the attitude, oh, she thinks she all of that. There is this concern in most families that you're going to grow off and leave them. This is where people like successful people, the Oprahs, the Ralph Parsons of the world, they become successful and the family says, well, you ought to give me this. You have a lot. You ought to give it to me. This is what I can tell you as a parent and as a sister. When we buy into that invisible chain of you ought to give me because you have more than, we become responsible for aborting their learning opportunities. If you don't believe it, you just keep giving folks stuff when they ask for it. But I had to, it's my brother. And you'll find out that you'll find yourself codependent. They'll start coming to you and bleeding you dry, and they will be pulling on that invisible chain of family. But when you have a family of your creation, they come to you in love and with love, and they accept you as you are. Now, back to the family of origin. I'm going to close with this. If you know that you need to be in relationship with them and they are not changing, all you need to do is shift a little bit of how you see them. Because just like they have labeled you, you have labeled them. Take the label off of them, set them free. Even if they come and they look like they're wearing the same suit the last time they hurt your feelings, go within and recognize and listen at the message behind what comes out their mouth. My sister so-and-so, she always says this. Okay, you know that, why you getting mad? When they do that, here's an opportunity and say, you know what? I really love you. I'm like, hey. Because once you get into these roles, you play the role, I play my role. All you have to do is switch how you respond. And they're going to have to shift to meet you. You're going to always have family. Be in relationship with them. Know that you're always at choice. Know that you have the power. It is invested in you. And this is, I need to say this real quick. The prodigal son, out of Luke 15, starts verse 11, goes to 32. The prodigal son is about a gentleman that asked for it. See, nature is not going to argue with you. He said, give me my part of the inheritance. I got to go. Nature's not going to argue. Gave him his part of the inheritance. He went off and did his thing. And he came back, and his brother was mad. Ernest Holmes says, you know what? You ask for what you want. Nature stands back, lets you go. He spent it all up. The good son was at home. He was inheriting the kingdom all along. And then when you come back to your senses as family, the father took him in because he had learned the lesson. And that was what was important. Life will let you make these mistakes of family, with family. You can leave them, yeah. They're still family. I'm going to close with this. Like I tell my daughter, she gets upset with me, and I say, and I love you anyway. I don't care how mad you get. You can't take my name off your birth certificate. And guess what? The love continues. I am Miss Judy-Ann Davis-Young. Thank you, and I am going to invite the lovely JJ up. As we go into this prayerful moment, And if you have ever been challenged by a sibling or a parent, a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle, even if you had the perfect Ozzie and Harriet family, or you had the Hatfields and McCoys, thank them, for they have been the source of great lessons. They may not have always felt good, but they're kind of like castor oil. It may not taste good, but it's so good for you. So I'm going to go into prayer around creating the family that supports the grace, the beauty, the truth, the love, and all of the compassion that you desire.
Let me walk to the banks, to the river of love, where the currents run deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation. The light is always seen, honoring all the differences. The truth sets us free. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I say, oh, you rock my soul. My soul.
It is at the threshold of God's goodness, that goodness that is full of love and compassion, truth, and divine intelligence, that creator and that creation. Oh, it is at the grace of God, the embodiment of God, that omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent source of God. Oh, it is there that I recognize that the healing has occurred. For what I know is there is this universal family, this invisible thread that has woven each one of us together. The thread of humanity, the thread of compassion, the thread of intelligence, the thread of cause and effect, the thread of grace, the thread of God's mercy, that extraordinary love, the thread of God itself. For each one of us is a facet, an individualized expression of God. I and you, we can no more be separated from God than the sun ray can be separated from the sun itself. So it is from this place that I can speak, declare, decree, and know it to be the absolute truth. That each one of us is the epic center of family. That each one of us has the capacity and stands in love as love. And we listen from the heart and hear with our inner ear. That we are the brother or the sister. We are the mother and the father. We are the aunt and the uncle, the parent and the grandparent to those people in our life. We are the reflection of that which we want most. And we know that everyone, every family member that we've ever had and will ever have is merely a reflection of who we are. We recognize them as sometimes the shadow. But for every light, there is always a shadow. And we embrace that We love it. We call it unto us. And it gives us an opportunity to love unconditionally. We are blessed by everyone that has come into our life. Some just because they love us and raise us and praise us, and others teach us the beauty and the joy of being loved and praised. We heal. We are healed. We forgive and we let go. We're no longer bound by the chains of bloodlines. Those invisible chains that tug at you and keep you playing a small game, for you're afraid they might not like me. What if they just love you because you are the one that soars above their least expectation? You are the one that goes off and lives the big dream. You become the role model, the teacher, the way shower. You become the source of possibility and light and truth and compassion and creation, and you allow them to raise up and grow under the umbrella of your love. And I give thanks to know that we all have the capacity. We are sent here as individualized expressions to be models of possibility to and for each other. For God made each one of us unique to share our gifts, and we cannot afford to die with our song trapped in our bodies. We do not want our dreams, aspirations, hopes, and desires to be lined up around us as we transition out of this life saying, why didn't you give expression to me? Why didn't you embrace me as family? And I am so grateful for this family, the Center for Spiritual Living, and each one that is here, for I recognize you as just another facet of the beauty of who I am. And for this, I say thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you for this day, for this is the day that God has made. I rejoice and I dwell in it, for I know the grace of God lives on, in, through, and as me forever and evermore. I release this into the alchemy of love and law, knowing that it is forever transformed, and I shall never be the same way again. I raise you, I praise you, I release you to be the greatest that you can ever be, that I can see you soar at your highest and know that wherever you are, there's still opportunity to grow, for you are my mother, brother, sister, father, and my child and grandchild. I let it go. I know it is so, and so it is.
Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven, stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection of you and me. Aren't we lovely, made from love? Okay, y'all know what time it is. Get on your feet. We're gonna all sing this together. Let the vibration of the goodness work through your spirit, and give honor and praise to him. Here we go. Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven, stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection of you and me. Aren't we lovely, made Give yourselves a round of applause.
You may be seated. This is the time we're going to call our usher forward. And there is a connection. We are glad that you are here.